But let's do this. Let's talk about the next wave of cancel culture.
Oh, let's do it.
This story is probably one of the craziest stories I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And they've walked it back already. Check this out. NBC News says Google bans website Zero Hedge from its ad platform over comments on protest articles. A Google spokesperson said in an email that it took action after determining the website violated its policies on content related to race. When they initially reported this, they also added the Federalist was banned. And they admit, the reporter claimed that they were working in tandem with an activist organization, I believe a UK-based activist organization, and a US-based activist organization, contacting Google with a list of websites that they want banned, and Google said yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So, Tim, who's our competition? We should write a letter.
Oh, that's a good idea. Crowder. Steven Crowder.
Steven Crowder.
Google. Hey, Google.
I'm just kidding.
No, sorry. No.
We like
No, they already-
Steven
I know.
Crowder.
Crowder, you're awesome.
No, they already went after him. That's why I'm like,
They already did that too.
Yeah, all right.
now Crowder's mad at us. I'm just kidding. But that's the game, right?
Yeah.
Who's the limousine to our taxi cab company, right? The
Ooh,
Murray
I
Hill
know,
riots.
yeah.
Right.
It's like, now I'm not super concerned. I guess it's technically NBC. So should we start a nonprofit charity organization called Ending Hate and Sending Love? And then we'll target anything that NBC ever does where we're like, they're so bigoted.
Yeah.
Google, are you really going to search and, index this so that people can find this? And then one by one. Now, I don't actually think it's a good idea, but NBC is doing this, and they actually say that there's like a list of 10 websites. Let me see if it's a...
Oh, hit list.
Yep, their hit list.
Very
So
nice.
they changed the article because they were wrong. What's interesting, though, is they changed it from 2 websites to just Zero Hedge. And the other thing is they were claiming victory. Like, we teamed up and we did it. Yahoo! It's like, actually, Google says they banned Zero Hedge last week.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Fail
Yeah,
on
so
every front.
NBC, no, sorry. But check this out. They say Google also issued a warning on Tuesday to the Federalist over comments on articles related to recent posts. Wait a minute.
Comments?
Doesn't Google like Section 230? Google wants to hold a website responsible for the content of other people?
Whoa.
Amazing, isn't it? How
so weird.
utterly disgusting, Google.
I'm so sick of this.
Yeah.
Google will go to a hearing where they're like, under Section 230 protections, we can't be held responsible for the content posted by other people.
But everyone else.
And then they look over and say, now, the content posted by other people on your website, well, for us, that's fair game, because we're in charge.
Uh-huh.
Well, now Donald Trump Jr. tweeted, in response to this story, because this freaked everybody out.
Yeah.
Dude,
As it should.
I think Google did ban the Federalist. I think they did.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
So the initial report said that Google confirmed they banned the Federalist. And there's even a statement. Look at this. We have strict publisher policies that govern the content ads can run on and explicitly prohibit derogatory content that promotes hatred, intolerance, violence, or discrimination based on race from monetizing. When a page or site violates our policies, we take action. In this case, we've removed both sites' ability to monetize.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
So it says it there.
But NBC
Yeah.
says just Zero Hedge. They say they just issued a warning to
Wait.
the Federalist.
Didn't they tweet out? Didn't Google tweet out we did not demonetize?
Yep,
But it says it right there. They did.
exactly. So is NBC lying?
Interesting.
I don't think-
Who's lying? I want to. I
Google
bet
is.
they're both lying.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't. No, listen. I don't think NBC would make up this email because that's libelous.
Yeah,
and
good
they could
point.
easily be targeted by Google. Here's what I think. When this story broke, I immediately tweeted it out. NBC News contacted Google to target their competition to get them banned, and Google said yes. Thousands of retweets very, very quickly. The story exploded. So many people were blasting it out. And then all of a sudden, like an hour later, Google goes, "No, we didn't ban anybody. What do you mean? This is clearly a misunderstanding." I think I have the tweet here. Yes, the Federalist was never demonetized. What do you mean, guys?
That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Look at this.
What the heck?
We worked with them to address issues on their site related to the comment section. Our policies do not allow ads to run against dangerous or derogatory content, which includes comments on sites.
What?
Cake and eat it too, say the least. Huh?
Seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
Google, you're nasty. And we offer guidance and best practices to publishers on how to comply. As the comment section has now been removed, we consider this matter resolved and no action will be taken. I am sad to see that the Federalist had to remove their comment section, but I got to be honest, I don't care for comment sections
Yeah,
anyway.
they stink.
Yeah.
And there's other ways The Federalists can resolve this, but I still think it's complete BS. The Federalists should not have had to remove their comment section because they're protected under Section 230, but Google doesn't care. Now I'm telling you what I think happened.
No, Google thinks they're above it,
Yeah.
and there's a difference.
They got the power.
Check this
They
out.
care. They care if it does affect them, but they are above it, and they don't. They're
Well, so-
like, "Psh, we're not even affected by this.
In that line of thinking, here's what I think happened. I think Google was like, we're getting hit up by NBC, better ban them, and did. And they said they did to NBC. But then all of a sudden, a trend emerged on Twitter showing that this was one of the biggest mistakes Google made in terms of banning some kind of platform.
Yep.
And then they realized, we're going to lose more money.
Yep.
Quick, go back.
They
we went too far.
They flicked a domino down, the first one. And it's like, that's what we were talking about, the Magic, Wizards of the Coast earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They banned a bunch of cards that didn't make any sense. Just because it revolved around a color of identity of a creature. That there's 5 colors in Magic, so...
One of those colors is white.
Now if you're white, you're racist. And it's like, wait, okay, so you're adding racism into the game by doing that. So Google is basically shooting themselves in the foot here.
Well, it's worse than that. You know what I think happened?
Worse, way worse.
I think some dumb, really dumb, like content moderator person
Okay.
gets the email and they go, oh yeah, I'll delete Federalist. Deleted. We deleted them. And then the lawyers for Google got wind of it when the story broke, and they went,
Hair on fire.
Dear God, the
What?
FTC is
Yeah.
going to drop a hammer on us.
Yes, they
and
are.
we are now going to be regulated. Welcome to the club, Google.
Woo!
There is nothing you can do at this. You know what? I got to be honest. I'd like to say that Google will now be regulated to some extreme degree or even broken up. I don't believe it because I think the GOP is particularly ineffective, so they're not going to do anything. I mean, look what they did with 2 years of controlling every branch of government, or the
nothing?
House and the Senate, I should say specifically.
Yeah, they did nothing.
Nothing. They wasted. I mean, to be fair, you had Paul Ryan and who else was still there? A bunch of them retired because
Yeah, they
they were
all
losers.
left.
So maybe they're doing better now. To be fair, I'm not confident they're going to do anything.
Yeah.
I do think people like Trump Jr. and because I know Trump Jr. is particularly active in all the stuff. He's sat down
up
with,
on it.
Yeah, and he's done stuff with like Dave
Yeah.
Rubin about this kind of
Yeah,
stuff. So I think he's paying attention, and he just tweeted out in response to this, it's time to haul them into subpoena them and get the CEO because they're out of control. Yes,
Here.
I think they banned the Federalist, and then when the lawyer found out, they're probably like,
Quickly.
yeah,
Switch it back.
They convened
Undelete.
a huge meeting. Probably got convened, and they were like, "Oh no,
Who did it? You're
You're
gone.
fired.
You're out.
So
Yeah.
fired.
I'm sure.
No, I don't know about getting fired because it was the policy. It was a matter of time before they went too far. And what's crazy is like I'm worried about getting banned. The Federalist is conservative.
Yeah.
And they've banned NewsGuard gives a negative rating to the Federalist, but it's still extremely high profile. You've you've got Sean Davis and you've got Molly Hemingway, very very high profile conservative
Yeah, very
personalities.
respected.
And Molly is like, yeah, seriously.
She's talented, yeah.
Some conservatives have praised her as being like one of the best writers, and she's appeared on Fox News. So this is like Google went way over the red line.
Yeah.
And now I think you might start seeing Republicans be like, "Oh, you mean we're actually in trouble?" You see, the GOP didn't really do much when it was Paul Joseph Watson or Milo Yiannopoulos
Okay.
or Laura Loomer. It was like, "Oh, these people got banned. Well, I'll give them a stern talking to." But now they're coming for the Federalist. Now you're probably going to see some of these more mainstream Republicans start sweating bullets like, "Oh, whoa, are they really
I actually
like
have to do something?
yeah, or not that that's like, am I going to get reelected?" Oh. Because is Google only going to allow far left propaganda to get monetized and conservative point of view will just be erased? Yeah, maybe they're not realizing what's really
Should've
going to happen.
figured it out earlier.
Yeah, maybe from the
Losers.
people that watch mainstream media.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
What's the percentage of people you think that actually watch mainstream media, though?
It's a lot.
Just curious. What do you think?
Most 80%.
80% of Americans, you think, watch mainstream media?
Now, to what degree is the bigger question.
Okay.
I think most Americans probably passively will have like the news playing from some, standard network outlet. And they're going to get fed some trash news. And I think it's one of the reasons why Sinclair has been buying up a lot of local news stations. Sinclair is considered to be more conservative.
Okay.
Because they know that the average person is just watching Fox or ABC or CBS or something.
Okay.
Liberals get 95% of their news from left-wing outlets and mainstream outlets. Moderates, 60% mainstream left, 30% conservative. And conservatives is inverted, 60% conservative, 30% liberal mainstream. And then there's like, breakdown of some other, the remaining 10%. And that makes sense. Moderates and conservatives get along on a lot of issues, disagree on some issues, and they get their news from slightly different places, but understand each other.
Okay.
The left doesn't know at all what's going on at all. Like, I'll tell you what, man, my activisty friends who are like super into Black Lives Matter are still posting to this day that a man fell asleep in a Wendy's parking lot and then was shot and killed by a cop.
Wow.
And I'm like,
Nothing about his DUI?
You left
or
out
his,
the part.
Rather, second DUI.
Well, hold on. You left out the part where he was in the drive-through lane with his car running, drunk. Like,
right.
That's
sleeping.
Right, passed out drunk. You don't want to call it sleeping, you know.
Yeah.
Good point.
And then you also left at the part where he has a violent history, and they called for backup.
And
Taser in
he
his
was out
hand.
on parole.
He beat 2 cops in a fight.
Yep.
When they tried to restrain him.
He did.
Stole
That's a
the
good
weapon.
point.
Yep. Stole the weapon.
Yeah.
Ran, turned around, and fired it at the cop.
Yep.
And then, only after all of these things,
Right.
did the cop respond.
Right.
So that's because they don't actually read the news.
Yeah, they don't care to.
But it's
So I
like,
said earlier, the narrative must fit their narrative, or else, and they'll carve and take the whole story and cherry pick all the things, put it together in a nice little package.
It's nice and neat.
There
Black
you
and
go.
white. Yep.
did you hear
Pass
about
it around.
Yep.
Did you hear about Fox News and the Photoshop scandal?
What with the
It was
the guy
Chaz.
who pulled a gun on someone?
on the Chaz. There was a photo of the Chaz, and they photoshopped one of the John Brown Gun Club guys, I guess, with
No,
the
I
rifle.
didn't hear about this. No.
So Fox used a thumbnail for some articles
Okay.
that showed one of the guys with guns at the Chaz, the Chop, in front of like a building that was destroyed. It was very clearly, in my opinion, not a direct representation of what was going on. It was just like a thumbnail graphic that many news outlets often do.
Okay.
Where they make what they call a collage. Now, this one was very like borderline, in my opinion. Like from far away, if you scrolled through, it might look like there was an armed guy standing in front of a destroyed building. But I would say every single news outlet has a graphics department, and they do similar things. But I think Fox News got, they were either just at the line, slightly over it, or whatever. So there was some, something to call out. But I talked to some people, and they're like, that proves Fox News is completely fake. And I'm like, it's one thing. It's like one thing that happened one time.
From one person.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like one. So like we can talk about the things Fox has got wrong. They have.
Right.
We can talk about New York Times, CNN, MSNBC. If you want to talk about getting something wrong, let's talk about MSNBC.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't want to talk about it. They're like, well, I'm talking about Fox News right now. And I'm like, yep, Fox News gets things wrong. It happens.
Yeah.
Are you satisfied? No, you still want to act like Fox News is the worst of the worst. They're not. MSNBC is way worse. And that's right. Fox. Actually, I'm sorry. MSNBC is not news.
I'm just so sick of this blame game. That's what everyone does. It's this person's fault. It's this person's fault. I don't have any ideas. I don't want to actually work towards anything. I just want to blame.
Yeah.
The blame game.
It's easier.
It's much easier.
It's a lot easier.
It's frustrating.
Well, check this out. I want to highlight this right here. The NBC says Google's ban comes after the company was notified of research conducted by the Center for Countering Digital Hate, a British nonprofit that combats online hate and misinformation. They found that 10 U.S.-based websites have published what they say are racist articles about the protests, and projected that the websites would make millions of dollars through Google ads. The NBC reporter who wrote this claimed they worked together. Overt activism.
Wow.
Overt.
Worked with Google?
No, worked with the activists to label, to target. So what they did was they claimed initially, and I believe this is true, that because of 2 articles the Federalist wrote claiming the media had lied about what was going on with Black Lives Matter protests, they submitted those articles to Google, and then Google said they banned the Federalist.
Wow.
Now Google's trying to walk it back. Maybe it's a good thing that Google is walking it back. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it shows that there is a hard line. Could be a bad thing. Maybe it shows that Google has no, like, they have a line that they're willing to cross, but they went too fast, and maybe they'll just keep doing it.
It looks more like Google, like a chunk of their armor fell off, and they're scrambling to put it back on. It's not like they're walking back. I mean, sure, technically speaking, they are, but it feels like they are like, whoa, this is a threat to our superiority in the media realm.
It was too fast.
Let's talk about one of the better responses from Mike Cernovich.
Okay.
He responded directly to their tweet. Enjoy being regulated because it's going to happen. GOP is too weak, but Democrats will take up the action and Google won't have a friend in the world. Yep. Elizabeth Warren wanted to do it. You know what's really funny? Mark Zuckerberg and a lot of these big tech companies were like, we must take a hard stance on hate speech. And then all of a sudden, Elizabeth Warren and some Democrats come out and they're like, we're going to break up Google and Facebook and regulate. And then all of a sudden, Mark Zuckerberg comes out with a PSA. I've had time to think about it. And I think free speech is paramount and very important. And what he was really doing was like, I'm really hoping that the Republicans win because the Democrats are going to break up my company. And so please, someone help Donald Trump win. And then now they started defending free speech, even after they already banned a ton of people. But now they're backtracking, saying we're appalled by Donald Trump's statements. They can't figure out who's going to win. Yeah. That's the funny thing. They can't figure out.
Who's they? The media?
No. Zuckerberg.
Oh, yeah.
Big tech peeps.
Big tech.
They're like,
so they're like,
who do we
they're like,
put our eggs in their basket?
They're leaning to the left because they're convinced Trump will lose. But then
Not
as soon as the
quite.
left said, we're going to regulate you, they were like, and then they went to the middle and they're like, oh, what do we do? What do we do?
It's true.
Oh, it's
my
coming. The
gosh.
end is near. So this is funny. Google actually hired some people specifically to liaise with moderate and conservative commentary channels.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
When was that?
Last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I can't say too much about it, but I know they did. And that says to me, I think they're worried about Trump getting reelected, and they're worried about this. And now I think it might be too late, man. I'm not convinced. Like I agree with Mike with Cernovich that the GOP is too weak. I don't even know what the GOP is doing, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I talk about. Like when people are like, "Why are you always ragging on the Democrats, Tim?" I'm like, "What are the Republicans doing?" Like,
They're just literally not doing a thing.
literally doing nothing. Yeah, it's like all you have is the conservatives being like, "Look at all these problems from the Democrats," and then you have to be fair, you have Rand Paul blocking things, but that's good. That is taking action. Ted Cruz has called this out. Matt Gaetz and Josh Hawley.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like nothing's really happened in 4 years. This stuff's been going on since what, 2013, 2012?
Oh yeah.
Escalating, getting worse and worse and worse. It's truly incredible.
I mean, if you really want to talk about it, like real reform, like nothing's really changed in a lot longer time than that. 20 years,
Yeah.
30 years. Like what really has changed?
What do you mean? A lot's changed in terms of government.
Yeah.
I mean, like Glass-Steagall repeal and the allowing of banks to use savings for futures investments or whatever they did, that supposedly contributed to the financial collapse, essentially using people's money. Like, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on that stuff, but there have been a bunch of dramatic changes. Barack Obama changing the rule on the definitions of words in healthcare, Title IX reform, flipping back and forth.
Yeah.
A ton of stuff that's actually changed.
Okay.
Obamacare, for instance. So we've actually gone through a ton of different changes. We've gone backwards. You know something crazy? Do you know what the involuntary mandate was?
What?
Under Obama's healthcare deal, if you didn't buy health insurance, you had to pay a percentage of your income in a fine at the end of the year.
Wow.
The individual mandate?
The individual mandate.
Yeah.
That's
That's like
what it's called, right?
involuntary. That doesn't sound good.
Well, that's basically
Yeah,
what
I
it
mean,
was.
yeah,
you know.
but yeah.
The individual mandate.
Yeah.
Trump got rid of it
Wow.
because I mean, it seems unconstitutional.
Yeah.
Forcing someone to buy a private product.
Yeah. That's
So-
not okay.
And dude, I'll tell you, it was really scary. So an individual I know, I'll try to protect their privacy to the best of my ability, was panicking because they didn't make enough money to pay for health insurance.
Okay.
But they made enough money to where they were going to be fined for not having health
Man,
insurance.
That's
Wow.
not right.
So they were like, "What do I do? What do I do?" It's like I'm gonna lose a little bit of money, but I can't afford to spend the extra money.
What do I do? Stop voting blue.
They didn't vote at all. That's the thing. This
Ooh,
is somebody
don't
who
be
doesn't vote.
passive.
That was just in my
And then
head, though.
one day woke up and they were like,
Oh crap.
it's going to cost me, they were concerned that it would cost them like $300-400 a month for insurance. And if they didn't pay it, it was going to cost them like $100 in fines. So they had no choice but to pay the extra fine and lose money. Something like that. I'm probably getting the numbers wrong, but they were like, I'm going to lose all this money at the end of the year. And I don't have any money to begin with. I'm poor. And I'm like, yeah, it's the funny thing about how this works. You can be poor-ish, but just not poor enough
Yep.
to where you actually get hit by these things. You don't qualify for benefits, things like that. That's
It's
a real
nonsense.
challenge for people,
Those are
man.
hardworking people too.
Yeah. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify, and we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.